Hi, welcome to my channel. Today, going to be talking about Jimi Hendrix
What the
45s.
names of the channel?
I don't have a name for the channel yet. It's
Like two
Jimmy
parts. You don't have a name of your channel.
Jimi Hendrix 45s.
Give me a break. Okay.
All right. So anyway, I've seen a lot of people putting their vinyl online, going through their collections, and Jimmy as well. But I hadn't seen anyone really go through 45 collections. And over the years, I've got a pretty good collection of Jimmy 45s. I like the sound of 45s better than 33s. I know in today's world where you can stream and CDs or even 33 albums, they seem ultra inconvenient, but the wider or the faster RPM and the larger surface area actually allows for better highs and lows, basically. So for those that are curious about 45s and maybe only listen to 33 albums, they actually do sound better than 33s, in my opinion. And I think technically or scientifically or whatever it is, they actually sound better. And I lost my train of thought on that. So the best way to get into Jimmy 45s to start without spending a bunch of money, going back to get the vintage mixes, is to look for these two box sets. This is volume 1 here, and that one's actually, my cover's not in that great a condition. And this is volume 2. Basically, there's a ton of 45s in both of these box sets. They were made by Classic Records, which is an audiophile company. Classic has done many great things, including these two boxes. So I'll go through these two boxes, and then I'll go through some of the more vintage ones that I have. So volume 1 is all stereo mixes, and you can see it's kind of a nice box set. Comes with a really nice booklet. There's a lot of stuff there. Then the actual 45s, again, these are all stereo mixes, but you can see Hey Joe and Stone Free. Purple Haze and Foxy Lady.
Foxy Lady.
Again, the artwork on these is excellent. It's actually reproduction artwork from like European and Japanese releases, which always tended, back in the day, in the 60s, tended to have better artwork usually than the US pressings. That's kind of come and gone over time, but a lot of these are repros of some of the more rare pressings with good artwork. So this is Wind Cries Mary and Fire. And Little Wing and Spanish Castle Magic. I like that shot of Jimmy there playing, not sure what kind of guitar, but not one you see him play very often. And Up From the Skies from Axis and Gypsy Eyes from Electric Ladyland. And some really cool artwork there. I think this is a repro. This was, some artwork from an original release. But really nice. And these all sound great too. I mean, just blow you away. This is a repro of Japanese artwork, Voodoo Child and Room Full of Mirrors. Looks like that's Jimmy playing in Cologne, actually.
Let me guess.
The picture.
You import this from Japan.
That's part of the box set. It's a reproduction of Japan, but I have imported from Japan.
Unapproved.
Okay, All on the Watchtower, Long Hot Summer Night. Oh, and this is the black vinyl version. There's actually 2 versions of this box set. There's a colored vinyl version. I happen to have the black vinyl version. Pretty much the same. Some people like the colored. I think the colored is the second pressing, and the black was the first pressing in this case. This is Crosstown Traffic, and If 6 Was 9. I forgot If 6 Was 9 was on this set. Very cool. and Rainy Day, Dream Away, and Still Rain and Still Dreamin'. So in effect, you kind of get the whole suite that's on Electric Ladyland. Still on two sides, unfortunately. Without, it's got Moon Turn the Tides Gently, Gently Away between these two. So basically you have this without the Moon Turn the Tides Gently, Gently Away. And it's kind of as it, without, I shouldn't say as it should be because, he put that on the album like that. But it's more like these two go together. Let's just put it that way. And Freedom and Angel with Japanese artwork again.
Japanese.
And that's it for the first box set. And this is volume 2 of the singles box set. Some of the tracks are the same in this, but these are the majority of these are mono mixes, which I really heavily got into Jimi around 1982. I had listened to Jimi on the radio in the 70s when I was a kid, but
Since 1982.
yeah, I've listened to Jimi for a long time. But it probably took me 20 to 30 years to finally hear the mono mixes myself. And they are different in many ways. They're different, and sometimes they're better, sometimes they're not. But if you haven't heard the mono mixes, you really need to hear the mono mixes because it is that different. So anyway, the first one in this set is Purple Haze and 51st Anniversary mono mixes. This is Wind Cries Mary and Highway Child mono mixes. Hey Joe and Foxy Lady, again, mono. Burning of the Midnight Lamp and Stars That Play with Laughing Sam's Dice in mono. And this Burning of the Midnight Lamp was actually released as a single before Electric Ladyland in mono. And when the album came out, it was a stereo version, and they are completely different from each other. And so, when I first heard this, I was like, I can't believe hardcore Jimi fan. I never heard this version. And this mono version is really cool. So I recommend hearing it one way or another, whether it's this box set or another way. And a couple mono versions from Axis, Up from the Skies, and One Rainy Wish. And it's said that after Burning of the Midnight Lamp, all the mono mixes of Jimi were fold downs. If you don't know what a fold down is, basically they take the stereo mix, they fold it down, and it creates the mono mix, rather than a recording that was dedicated to recording it in mono. So what the point is, these are probably fold down mixes. They are in mono. They do sound, believe it or not, they sound a lot different even as fold downs than the regular Crosstown and Gypsy Eyes. This has also recently been released on orange vinyl from EH. I don't have that one. I didn't feel like I had the need to buy that one because I have this great copy already. So. Next is Stepping Stone and Isabella. Now, the booklet advertises this as the same as the original vintage 45. There's a lot of arguments online about, I guess there's been tons of Stepping Stone versions released. If this is really the original mix or not. Actually, I don't have the original 45, so I can't compare. The booklet says that it is. It's different than most of the other Stepping Stones I have, so I'm assuming that it is. And this Isabella, very different than what's on War Heroes, even though it's a stereo version, not stereo mono. It's just a different mix, a different take, I think, even. And it's really good. Way, in my opinion, way better than what's on War Heroes. So there are a lot of reasons that 45s are cool, because you get something slightly different. I mean, a lot of artists release different takes on 45 back in the day, or different mixes. And sometimes back in the day, I'd listen to the radio and my album, and I would always wonder, why does my album not sound as good as the radio? And the main reason That is probably because they were playing 45s, and I was at home with playing my 33s. And plus, you know, my turntable wasn't all that great. But for those that were there back when FM was still playing records, you probably know what I'm talking about. This is Dolly Dagger and Star Spangled Banner. Again, this is this version is the black vinyl version. I think this one is a second pressing because the first version was colored vinyl. And there were actually some mispresses in the first version, whereas, you know, it said Dolly Dagger and Star Spangled Banner, but this one was actually Nightbird Flying. It's not Dolly Dagger on the colored vinyl versions. But this is a standard black, no mispress here, and, you know, it sounds great. Johnny B. Good and Loverman. These are both from Berkeley. Great, you know, Berkeley is legendary shows. By my opinion, the best shows he ever did. And you know, we got some great video and some great audio from it. Someday I hope they release the whole early show. Fortunately, we got great versions of the late show. This is Johnny B. Good's from the early show, Loverman's from the late show. Really good stuff. And lastly in this box is Gloria and Look Over Yonder. And the mix on this is the EH mix, which is slightly different than the Douglas mix. A lot of people think they're the same. They are not. There's some, I don't know if they're cut different or what. There's some different lyrics on this one than there is on the original Douglas version. And it's also got Look Over Yonder as a B-side. I've never seen that before, so nice to get Look Over Yonder on 45. So now I'm going to go through some of the more vintage ones. Again, you know, if you want to just get started, I really highly recommend those box sets. They are great. So this is actually not a vintage one. It's EH 2013 Hey Joe and Stone Free mono mixes. There's rumors that the master tape for Stone Free is lost. So, you know, this may not be from the master. I think it sounds great. It's in great shape. You go out and get an original mono Hey Joe Stone Free. It probably doesn't sound like, you know what, I already have some ring wear there. Yeah, I'm storing my records too tight, huh? And I lost my train of thought again. Anyway, Stone Free and Hey Joe mono. This is actually another Stone Free and Hey Joe, but it's a test pressing that I ordered something else from a friend of mine in Portland, and he just included this as a bonus. I'm pretty sure this is a stereo version. It's kind of nice to have something unique like this. And thanks out to Bill for giving this to me. Now this is a vintage pressing. This is a French pressing, 1967. Foxy Lady, Bold as Love in mono. And you know, Bold as Love, I think is the only place I've ever seen Bold as Love in mono. So, you know, I needed to pick that one up. And this is a German pressing, 1968. Watchtower and Can You See Me, both in mono. And they are different, especially Can You See Me is much different than the stereo version. Both in 45. I think this one has a little surface noise, but maybe I'll clean it and play it again. And I got a better cleaner now, so. This is an Australian pressing, mono, Crosstown Traffic and Electric Lady Land, or have you ever been to Electric Lady Land? Nothing cool on the artwork, but this is the only place I've ever seen have you been to Electric Lady Land on 45. And mono, probably a fold down. I don't know, but anyway, nice to have that on 45. This is a promo copy, stereo versions of Watchtower and Burning of the Midnight Lamp. Believe it or not, the Burning of the Midnight Lamp stereo 45 is actually far less common than the mono, which is why this is a promo. In fact, I don't even know if they came out with it on regular, but this is stereo version on 45. This is a few more obscure things. This is Heir Apparent, and Jimmy actually produced this band, and he also played on the songs. So it's on Buddha Records.
I want to listen this one.
Okay, we will check this one out.
Yeah.
And I think this is great. The first time I heard Heir Apparent, I heard them on CD, and they just sounded really tinny and just not very good. So I was kind of turned off by them. I kind of thought, I don't care if Jimmy did play with them. I don't think they're that great. I got the 33 not that long ago and thought it was way better. And when I got these 45s, there's another one here. This is really good. So this is, I believe, this is a U.S. pressing. It's got some kind of cool stuff on the label. You can see, kind of psychedelic, pretty nice. And this one's in really good shape. So this is another Heir Apparent 45. Nothing cool artwork. It's a UK pressing, rock and roll band, and Yes, I Need You. And the cool thing about this is rock and roll band was never on any album. So the only way to get it officially without bootlegs is to get a 45. It was also pressed, I think, in the US and Germany, but this has a UK pressing. That's the only way to get that song, and Jimmy played on that song.
Yeah, this one I can make a lot of money, huh?
Another 45 with Jimmy as a guest, UK pressing. This is the band Love, and he played on the Everlasting First, and I think it's got Keep On Shining, which he didn't play on, but it's it's good stuff. I like the band Love. Arthur, whatever his name is, Arthur Lee, I think. He's really cool too, and it's a good 45. This 45 came out in 1970. It's a mono 45. Japanese pressing. Actually goes for a fair amount of money, I believe, because it is Japanese, and they tend to have better artwork. This is Foxy Lady and Spanish Castle Magic. So the reason I got this was because it has Spanish Castle Magic in mono on 45. Yeah. Up next, I got a couple of promo copies of Freedom, mono and stereo. And
Sing that hook. You always sing.
And this is Dolly Dagger, mono and stereo, promo copies. It came out around 1971. Again, the monos are probably fold downs on those. So the next kind of set here is 1972, shortly after Jimmy died. The French actually did I think there were 12 of these. I don't have all 12. They called them the Jimi Hendrix Story. And, several 45s that hadn't been available before in 45 RPM. I actually don't have the record to this one because I bought this from someone and had the wrong record in it, which I'll show in a minute, so I only have the artwork. But this is The Wind Cries Mary and Red House, Volume 3. There were a couple pressings of these, by the way. I'm not sure which pressing I have of each set. You can see they kind of have the orange, and I think some of them have a little bit different label. But this is Changes and Message to Love from Band of Gypsies, Volume 5. This is Volume 7, Waterfall, which is the same as May This Be Love and 51st Anniversary. And this is actually a unique waterfall, or whatever you want to call it, May This Be Love. different mix than either the mono or stereo versions on the albums, and I really like it, and it sounds good, and I'm glad to have this one. And I actually got a second copy of this one because that other one that I showed you earlier, that actually had that one in it. So, and here's volume 8, 1983, A Merman I Should Turn to Be, and Come On. 1983 is a super long song, so obviously this is a truncated version of it. But it's cool to hear, you know, this stuff on 45. And here's volume 9. I actually have 2 copies of this. The reason I have 2 copies of this is one of them I ordered was just in such horrible shape. I didn't believe that it was listenable, so I got a second copy, but I didn't get rid of it. The other one, Easy Rider and Drifting. And the second copy, of course, sounds really good. Nice to have Easy Rider and 45. Also in 1972, this is a German pressing from based on In the West, the original In the West. And this is Johnny B. Good and from Berkeley, and Little Wing from Royal Albert Hall. Little Wing from Royal Albert Hall, and this is great. And 1973, this is, I'm not sure if this is UK or US, I don't remember. But Hear My Train A-Comin' acoustic, and Rock Me Baby from Monterey. Very nice. So this is a pretty rare one here. This is actually Spanish from Spain, from the Douglas era. I had never seen a 45 from the Douglas era before I found this a few years ago. I shouldn't say, I mean, from the before Jimi Hendrix concerts. I guess they started releasing some later. But this is Peace in Mississippi, Message to Love, Douglas versions from Crash Landing. And the Peace in Mississippi is fine. Honestly, the Message to Love I think sounds horrible. I don't know if I got a bad pressing or it's just my copy. But again, this thing's fairly expensive, and for the Message to Love to sound as bad as it does on here, I was very disappointed. In 1979, they came out with Essential Hendrix Volume 2 as a bonus. Was this? It's actually it's not a 45. It's actually a 33. This is the original. Well, I'd say the first release of Gloria. And it came with Experience or Essential Hendrix Volume 2. And lastly, 1982. This is around the time that I really started getting into Jimi. You know, I had listened to him before, so Jimi Hendrix concerts came out at that time, and I got 3 45s from that era. First is Fire, mono and stereo, so I'm assuming the mono is a fold down. But it's pretty nice. No artwork. The second one is Fire and Little Wing, which is the Little Wing from Winterland, and Fire from Winterland as well. And it's pretty good. And last, before I go through a couple of maxi 45s, is Fire and Are You Experience from the Jimi Hendrix concerts. And this is a UK pressing, not better artwork. The Are You Experience live on 45. What can I say? It's nice. Okay. I'm going to go through a few maxis, and then that's going to be the end of part 1, because I'm getting tired. So there's only four left. And you guys probably don't want to listen to me for longer than about 15, 20 minutes anyway. So these came out, I think, in the UK. I think there were 3 of them. They're actually, the size of a regular 33, but they're in 45 RPM, 2 songs per side. The first one is Watchtower, Foxy Lady, Purple Haze, and Manic Depression. The reason I got this is because I think this is the only, there may be some others of Manic Depression on 45, but I This was easy to get and fairly inexpensive, so that's why I picked that one up. And then also the same kind of series, I guess. I don't know. Voodoo Child, Gypsy Eyes, Hey Joe, and Third Stone from the Sun. So this is the only time I've seen Third Stone from the Sun on 45. And it's, you know, the extra dynamics and such really make it nice. This one's called the Peel Sessions. And, you know, earlier I was looking at this, I thought these were mono. I don't think they are. I think these are the Douglas stereo versions. You can see the picture on Radio 1. I gotta go listen to this one again. But basically, it's a bunch of Radio 1 tracks in 45 RPM. Radio 1, Day Tripper, Wait Until Tomorrow, Hear My Train, and Spanish Castle. So, you ever wanted to hear the Radio 1 versions in 45 RPM? This one is a little bit hard to find. And I don't know that it's all that expensive, but it is a little bit hard to find. And lastly, before we end part 1, this is my only Jimi picture disc. It is in 45 RPM. And it is from the Radio 1 time frame as well. You can see both sides play. And it's got Hey Joe, Purple Haze, and Radio 1 on it. And that's actually the end of my video. I will do a part 2 later. Because I just have too many 45s. Anyway, I really love 45s. If you like what I'm showing here, please subscribe to my channel.
Bye.
And give me a thumbs up. Thank you.